Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished educators, policy makers, entrepreneurs, students, business people, people of goodwill. I am Dr. George Ndemo from the Department of Philosophy at Jordan University College, Morogoro, a constituent college of St. Augustine University of Tanzania. I am humbled to welcome you to Jordan University College Philosophy Conference to be held on the 30th of April 2026 at the Jordan University College grounds. The theme of the conference will be integrating philosophy into the efforts of educating and skilling Africa for the 21st century. The conference seeks to explore how philosophical frameworks can enrich educational and skills strategies. You may be wondering why a conference in philosophy? Perhaps to understand the good of the conference, I invite you to reflect on a simple but foundational question. What is education for? What is education all about? Is education about producing workers for the economy? Or is it about forming responsible human beings capable of shaping society wisely and ethically? Well, today across Africa, we are rightly investing in education for the 21st century. We speak about innovation, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, engineering, and entrepreneurship. Now, all these are important. We encourage our young people to become scientists, engineers, technicians, and entrepreneurs. Now, while all these are necessary and commendable efforts, we need not just to celebrate the skilled graduates, but as we celebrate the skilled graduates, we need to pose a question, another question: who or what kind of person stands behind the skills? There was a time when employers sought for what they called a Christian gentleman. By the phrase Christian gentleman, they were not looking just for religious identity, but they believed that a Christian gentleman was a person of integrity, discipline, honesty, humility, and responsibility. Employers believed that such a person could be trusted with money, with authority, and with the welfare of others. Skills they believed could be taught, but character had to be formed. In those days, education aimed not at just sharpening the mind, but also at shaping the soul. Then came the age of the skilled man. And today, we are influenced by that age of the skilled man. So today, our language has changed. Employers are no longer asking for a gentleman, but they are instead seeking the skilled professional. So we ask, can you code? Can you design? Can you build? Can you innovate? These are important questions. Africa must develop technically the capacity that it requires to compete in the global market. And also, if it has to lift the millions out of poverty. But if we are not careful, we create, or we may end up creating, an imbalance in society. We will get a society full of skilled individuals, but lacking ethical direction. We will have a brilliant engineer who can design systems that exploit people. We may end up having a clever accountant who manipulates systems or the financial systems. But we can also end up having a talented politician who can deceive a nation. Now, skill alone does not generate wisdom. Competence alone does not guarantee integrity. As a matter of fact, Aristotle and St. Thomas are believed to have said 1,000 experts may never equal one wise man. This is why philosophy matters. Philosophy asks the deeper questions that technology alone cannot answer. What kind of society are we building? Now, these questions shape how leaders should govern, how professionals should behave, and how citizens should relate to one another. Philosophy teaches us to think critically, to examine our assumptions, and to reason carefully before acting. It cultivates in us the habits of reflection, responsibility, and moral awareness. We are in an age of rapid technological change, and the philosophy therefore becomes even more important. The more powerful our tools become, the more necessary it is that wisdom guides their use. We are able to produce very powerful machines, but without the question, what are they going to be used for? We are lost. We know that we have now very powerful bombs that you throw and it will kill thousands of people. Can we really afford to use them for killing people? Now, this philosophy we are talking of is not foreign to Africa. It is deeply rooted in our traditions. Across our cultures, we find moral wisdom inscribed in proverbs, communal values, ethical principles, such as Ubuntu, the teaching that I am because we are, or the belief that a person is a person through other persons. Our ancestors, our forefathers, understood very well that human flourishing depends not only on individuals, but also on community, justice, and mutual respect. By integrating philosophy into education, we are not talking of importing something foreign. Rather, we are reclaiming an intellectual and moral heritage that already belongs to us. What this means for our education is that we should not be educating persons for skills alone, but rather we should be educating the whole person. This simply means that the goal of education in Africa must therefore be broader than producing workers for the marketplace. Our education system should be able to form whole human beings. So it is called holistic education. We must cultivate intellectual ability, technical competence, moral character, civic responsibility, and philosophical reflection. When philosophy is integrated into education, students learn not only how to make a living, but also how to live well. Where we are now, we ought to make this the vision of our future. The challenge before us is not to return nostalgically to the past, nor to reject modern skills. But what we are looking for is to create a new synthesis whereby our task must be educating a generation that is both skilled and wise. We need a generation of engineers who think ethically. We need a generation of entrepreneurs who value justice. We need a generation of leaders who understand responsibility. A generation of citizens capable of thoughtful participation in a democracy. In short, Africa must produce not merely the skilled person, but the ethically grounded and philosophically reflective skilled person. This is what the conference seeks to bring our attention to. I am therefore making an appeal to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished educators, our universities, entrepreneurs, business people, students, people of goodwill, that we should not let philosophy be a luxury or an optional subject. It is high time that we recognized its foundation and meaningful in education. We need to find out how we can integrate this philosophy into our science, business, technology, and leadership training. We want to encourage students to ask difficult questions about truth, about justice, about responsibility, and about human dignity. Otherwise, we may end up succeeding only in producing skilled workers, in which case we will only be building economies. But if we succeed in producing wise and responsible human beings, then we will build nations. And the future of Africa depends not only on what our graduates can do, but on who they become. The question of who they become is most important. In one graduation ceremony, one professor threw the question to the audience, and he said, the most corrupt people, the greatest thieves in the world are university graduates, people who have the skills to manipulate the systems. And he asked, if our thieves, the most corrupt people, are the educated, is there a need of us continuing to educating more thieves, more corrupt people? I welcome you all to the conference so that we can discuss these issues, these questions. They are important for our life today, for our society today, for our education today. Thank you. Most welcome.